Welcome to the round 15 FTTV podcast. Just one more round of the buys left, and we're all finishing our team. But we've got a bit on the agenda today to speak about. We'll go through how we went and our MVP and fold of the week. So a little bit of news, a few injuries here and there, but nothing major at the moment. A few topics. People want to flip a few premiums. Callum Mills looking really good, stuff like that. A few cheap forwards too that I think are great to finish the team. Like rookies will spend hopefully no more than a minute on. Not much really to tell there. McCarthy's probably the one. Go through trades and captains. So hopefully be a short one today. I think every time we've said it's been a short one, it's never been a short one. I'm not sure we've ever gone under 45 minutes, but it's that time of the year. I think there's 8 or 9 rounds to go. Winding down a bit of content and less to talk about because we all have, well, certainly our community's on low trades, but I think, others might have a bit more. But anyway, how did you go this week,
Not too bad, mate. I'll give a quick shout out to the rankings before we look at ourselves. All our leagues are doing pretty well. I think our Regs league jumped. I don't know actually, were we first last week? I don't even know. First time I've looked at it was yesterday for probably a month of like how the leagues are going, and they're still all around the top. So I don't know. I feel like we always got a few in the community that are doing really well. Like we hopefully push people in the right direction, but then you obviously got to have a bit of luck and some good trading, which me and you are both guilty of having some howlers along the way. So those that aren't are still there's always a few doing really well. I actually don't really know who within our community, like within the Discord's doing super well. I'm sure there's a few really up high. Do you know any?
I think old Bogues is doing well. I think he's
that's right. Yep,
60th or something like that.
Yep. So that's not too bad. We had Hammy actually, the old man who created Footy Scores, set his team up for the bye week, the week just gone, and he thought he was doing not too bad. Like he had a really good round, but it ended up being like 40th or something. I think in the end, George, traded in like Luke Jackson, Witts for that matchup against Madden. Who else did he go? Like Tracy, who got 120 without even kicking a bag. Like if he kicked the bag, it could have been even more. I think he had like, was it 3 goals, something like that. Darcy, of course. So, look, as you said off the top, it's that stretch home where it's just, survive really. Still, is it 9 rounds to go, and I'm looking at like 4 trades at the minute, and I've got to use probably a couple. So, it's not going to be pretty for me, but hopefully a few more out there in our community and beyond have more trades than that. But 2168 I scored, George. We'll get to that now, I guess, into 3K. So. Again, probably going to just float around this for the rest of the year. I don't think I'll go up too much, and hopefully I just don't go down too much, really. So it's probably going to be around that, I'd say, to the end of the year, unless that carnage with my low trades goes bananas, and will probably drop. So got in Sammy Darcy, finally got rid of Archer Reed down to a 99k ruck. Looking at who to do, and then funnily enough, looking at the fixture was sort of Harry Boyd was the one. So back on the ownership bandwagon there with him. Yeah, one of you guys now. I think they have the most like later games of the 99k ruck. So look, I still probably have a dead bench anyway with Boxall and Huswaite and stuff. So it probably wasn't that important, but just in case I did it anyway. And then put Pedler up to Sammy Darcy was pretty much all I could afford. I think I had 30k left in the bank, as I was saying last week, and sort of was like, oh, I want to use this to flip a premium. Thank God I did. Like I knew it was dumb, and obviously, thank God I held off, because Dunks did repay the slight faith I had in him, which is probably nothing, but he had a good game on Friday night. And I still would like George Hewitt as an option for others on the run home, but just not something I can trade into or use a trade on. So didn't opt to do that, just use the 2 trades and did that little upgrade and sort of finished my team in a sense with Sheldrick is now my flex. Or my 23rd, whatever you want to call it. But with that whole Walsh debacle the other week, George having him in and then out, I've sort of wasted trades there and had Matty Roberts still. So unfortunately, he scored me a 95, but he's probably one that I'm going to have to trade. I probably could, with my very low trades, just hold on and see how he goes, but he is playing on a wing. Yeah, no, I don't. No, I know you're saying no, but I have 3 trades, George. So I'm going to trade him because I don't give a shit. I'll rather just trade him and get someone else. But I guess we'll have that combo later about how many trades. That's really the combo we can have at this point of the year is how many are going to go down to. Blah blah blah. What's the least you can go down to without being two in the mud. But again, it's 9 weeks. It's a long time, so injuries can happen as we've seen. So yeah, sitting at 3K MVP. Maybe a Sarong again, another 149. I was going to have the VC on him, George, and you said, no, he's banned, and it cost me a few points because I ended up with VC Cherry, which obviously wasn't great, and put the captain on Eddie, and as a non-bond owner, that was a minus, 57 on, not majority, I think it was like 25% captain bond, something like that. A few did captain Cherry, so that's probably what helped me actually still rise in the ranks this week. A few captain some, it's probably a very big variance week in the captains. Some get the Bont 170, whereas some, 20% captain Cherry, I think. So there's 100 points there, which you'd be flat about if that was you. Some captain Whitfield I saw, poor Abs, and Tim Michelle, they both do it. There's like for 40 as a captain. I've never copped that. I think that'd be like the worst thing you could possibly cop. I've captained like a 50 before, you have as well, but in a buy round, the fact that you you just don't have I don't know what you can do about that. It's probably nothing. It's just the shit luck in this game that you cop. But
yeah,
So MVP maybe Sarong, finally getting going, or Sammy Darcy as a trade in to do that straight up. It was one of those games watching your team get belted, but by the players in your SuperCoach team, it's sort of I expected. Honestly, we did all right. I expected a 100-point loss. I'll be honest after that first quarter. So you'll take that. But yeah, I'm just dragging it out, George, at this point. Sitting at 3K, I don't think it's going to get much better. It's just how is it going to get much worse? So see how we go. How about you, mate?
Yeah, I had a good week, 22.59, which I'm happy with. Pretty much last week I was saying I don't have any of the top 7 defenders, and a lot of them did not fire this week. Yeah. Actually paid off, but I think we're going to get back to getting caged next week by these guys and Gorn. MVP for me, got to give it to Jack McRae. Sort of poddish, I think in the 20% owned.
Yeah.
Looking at his numbers past before he was injured, and there's sort of explanations for his bad scores. So the Giants, he scored 70, was against Bedford, 77 against Brisbane. I think he had bad ratio there. And then Carlton, he copped Hewitt. That was another sub-ton there. And then West Coast, he punctured his lung. So there's only really one bad score for the year if you take away excuses. But I guess if that Nadal quote, if doesn't exist, that's a good one if you haven't seen that one. But I think, I think he's gone all right. And he definitely carried the inside load with still having a down game. So yeah, Jack McRae, one of the favorites. So MVP goes to him. Fault of the week. I mean, everyone did good, I think. I don't really have one. I guess maybe Rosie going back to the midfield. Porter not good at the moment. I don't know. Not sure what's happening at that club, but the less played. I guess we all have Butters and Francis will be right. I think Rosie will be fine, but I want him down back, not in the midfield. But surely he can do 95 to 100 in the midfield, surely. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think low trades for us. I'm probably going to sit at 4, but I'll pay for Nas, I think, over Mills. Do I save that money and save a trade? Just get it done in the one trade, or 1 trade for Mills, 2 trades for Nas. I'm not sure, but we'll speak about Mills soon. But yeah, I think you think back to those, like where were the trades blown? And for me, it's definitely Mateus Philippou.
Yeah.
Trade him in, doesn't perform, gets injured, drops cash, lose a trade. Yep. And like that trading him in and out. So that's 2 trades and negative money. Like I'd love to be on 6 trades and a bit of money, and that would enable Rankin to Darcy or Horn-Francis. So I can't do that. So really getting punished for those types of trades. No guarantee of high CBO roll. So got punished pretty hard there. And then brought Sam de Koning in and then got him out within 2 weeks as well, as soon as they announced that Stanley was rucking. So that's another one where it boosted him in. That cost me 2 boosts. So that's a debacle. So where did it go wrong? It's the mid prices that didn't have the prime rolls. should know by now, but at least, you can sort of pinpoint at least what happened and hopefully freshen the mind for next year.
It's
But yeah,
restraint, because we say it, and still at the time we still go for it.
Yeah.
Mine's probably that waste of Will Ashcroft to Finn Callahan. Not needed. It was obviously a very biased trade, or I made myself think it was a biased trade just because I love Finn. But yeah, Will's been good all year. He had one really bad game. That's it. Been solid outside of that. We'll probably still have him, and I know we're going to talk about him probably because people are looking with his bye this week to maybe flip. But I'd love that trade back. Didn't need to happen. Obviously, yeah, the Walsh injury 2 weeks ago, in and out, is a bit annoying. I'd love to just not have to having to have wasted trade getting him back out. But again, I also traded Sheasel and Daniel. So you traded Daniel. I traded both, him and Shees. Is there another one in there? I think is it another bad trade? No, that's not too. That made sense at the time. I guess McRae. I was so bad that buy that early in the buys. I opted to hold one of Horn-Francis and McRae. But when I'm after I've already made those bad ones earlier in the year, I should look at that and go, just hold. Hold. You got to hold at this point. And now McRae is probably still going to be decent. So I don't know. The forward line's a weird one, but we say these lessons for next year, George, every year, I think. So can we actually learn? That's the part we got to do.
Yeah, it's tough. I think, and people are just very good at the game now. It's not like when I was getting consistent top 500s in the 2018, 2019 and that sort of area. A lot of people didn't know role, the importance of role and stuff and whatnot. But now we got all these resources. That sort of edge is sort of gone. Putting that extra research into the game. There's just too many good people out there. So it's much harder to put ranks on other people. And now you're just seeing anyone can have a good year. So we'll get into some news. Not really a lot here. So Trelaw's out for 6. I mean, it didn't really affect any of them, like a Kennedy or anything. Maybe he was the one to get pushed out, but no reason to change anything there. So out for 6, unfortunate for him. Just Bergman played through a shoulder injury and was sick. So that's the explanation for his score of 50. Played a bit forward, so I don't think that will continue. Whitfield is eligible to play in round 17, provided he passes all his concussion stuff. But yeah, that really sucked because I've been trying to get Whitfield all year, and he's just the one that I never got. And yeah, that's unfortunate for those with Whitfield, but I think he's a hold. I wouldn't be trading him. Max King's out for the season. Doesn't really mean much. Yo's back on the track. McGovern's retired. Yeah, not much relevance here, to be honest. I really probably didn't need to read any of that out, to be apart from Whitfield. But it's that time of year, and see how it goes. Now, we have some questions from Discord, but also sort of topics of the week. In terms of it is the last buy round, so you can flip some players. Probably the 3 that I brought up are Lockie Neal, who I'm seeing, I'm not seeing anyone hold Lockie Neal, which is surprising, but can see the justification. I'm seeing a little bit of merit trading, a little bit of holding as well, and I'm seeing a little bit of Will Ashcroft trading. You have Neal, right? Or did you get rid of him?
Never had him.
Never had. Okay, you got Dunks. That's right. Yeah.
Got rid of Will, round 3.
I think. Yeah. Was looking at
all trades, George, isn't it?
Yeah. Was this listening to a bit of commentary on Neal? People were saying he was a bit sore during the game. Wasn't moving super well and copping attention. It's sort of why I didn't go for him, but I did go for Merritt instead, whose run is just as bad. But there's a few tags lined up after the buy. Looking at most likely Chincotta. I think people just want to get out, cash him in, go down to Mills, get 120k, finish the team. I think, would you tick that off people that want to trade Neal if they have the trades to do it?
Yeah, if you have the trades, go for your life. I don't think any of those 3 are ones I'd be banging the door down. You must keep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Funnily enough, Will's probably the one that's just what's going to be wrong with him the rest of the year?
Well, he's post-buy specialist last year.
Like, he's not the one that gets attention. If anything, maybe his mid-time gets a bit higher as the year goes on. He's the youngest one. Neil might get, I don't know, if he's really got an issue or something, get managed a bit more, or I don't know. I just think Will's probably the one. I mean, Merritt should be, but as that run of tags, it's been so highly spoken about is quite ridiculous. But Neil, I think I'll be the most happy getting rid of out of those three, and then it's tough. It's like a real question: do you do it or not for the other two? But that's the way. I don't know. How do you see it?
I'd quite
You
happily
own
keep
Merritt,
Will.
so
I tell you what, he's had to fight through Mullen, Wagner, and Chincotta tags 3 weeks in a row, and he's actually sped out an 80, 100, and a 90. So it's like, that's not what we want. But
and his coach.
Yeah, and I think Matty Lloyd was pretty vocal on Sunday Footy Show this week. Like, you got to get Merritt into the midfield. And he basically, like, I would like to see Parrish out of that team, because that would put Martin and Merritt back in the midfield. And I think,
and you got Caldwell.
Yeah, Matty Lloyd was basically saying you got to build that midfield around Durham, Caldwell, Merritt,
Martin, yeah,
and Martin, and he, like, no mention of Parrish. So Lloyd's, he
done with him.
Legend of the game. He knows. But this is what we're dealing with at the moment. So, in fantasy, I'm keeping him because he's got Gold Coast and then Richmond, and we know he goes like Richmond's his bunny team.
Yeah,
he's got 150 plus scores against Richmond in the last time they played, and then last year he scored 145 on Gold Coast. So you can score against Gold Coast. I'm going to hold, and I might luxury in the last 4 or 5 weeks, because the last 4 or 5 are disaster. Like, if you're playing for leagues, get rid of him.
Yeah,
because he's going to kill you in SC finals, I think. I mean, he might be okay, but yeah. Again, I think if I had to order, Neil priority out 1, probably Merritt 2, Will 3. There's a priority outs.
Yeah,
But
I think I'm the same, which is crazy. But I think you can hold the last 2. You can hold all 3, really.
Yeah, you can.
It's not must trade areas for any of them. It's how bad are the signs, and there's more bad signs on Neil, and then those, as you said, after those 2 games post the bye for Merritt, it's bad signs as well. And for Will, it's just like, do you think he can run out the year and keep his form up heading into finals? And I don't think there's any reason why not. He's not like a second. I know he hasn't played a heap of footy, but it's his like 3rd year now, right? Like, he's got enough in his legs, had enough, at a full preseason. I just think he'll be fine, and he's in a one of the highest scoring mids in the comp, that he's never going to get attention. I mean, it'd be funny one day he will, and it's probably come pretty soon. But right now it's Plug, and Neil is still Neil for though he's old, he's still the one that team comes up against the Lions that week. They go, and Neil's the guy, like the clearance guy we got to stop. So Will's fine. So I'll probably be saying the same order. Yeah, I think that's how we see it. But again, not all must trades. It's like, what's the trade count, George? Like, you got to have to even consider this. Is it? Are you going 4 down to 3, 5 down to 4? Is that fine?
I think 4 would be my threshold.
So using your 5th down to 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd probably say you go 4 down to 3, but again, it depends who else you have and who else you're nervous on.
Yeah.
It's also in your team. So, yep.
All right, Callum Mills. Did we not give this pick enough? Well, we spoke about him and said it should be okay. I think we said maybe in the 90s he can average. Got another look. What did you watch Mills? And
yeah, I watched 3/4 of that game, I think, before I left the house on Saturday. I watched those 2 footy games, and then I was gone. Look at the team sheets. We knew 8 defenders named. We're like, I don't know if we spoke about this actually at length on the pod. I can't even remember, but we at least spoke about it in Discord, or some people did. They had 8 defenders named. We knew one of them had to be sub, was most likely Bice. But then it's like, still can't have 7 Like one's probably still got to play wing. They've dropped Jake Lloyd for the first time and whatever. And I just wasn't sure. I probably could have. I mean, I didn't have a trade for West anyway. But looking now that if I saw that it was Matty before the game, maybe I'd make that Roberts to Mills flip down, because it's like Mills has played wing in the past. We know that it could, maybe it was a J-Mac wing, and then Mills plays a bit mid. We just didn't really know because again, it could still change with Mills. He can play anywhere, so we don't know if it's going to stick. But I think it's got to, based off how he's come back. Played 3 games now. He has injury issues upon injury issues. Is that the spot to just play him to keep him fit and not, probably don't want to throw him in the midfield when your season's, look, it's not done, but it's on the edge of being done if they lose a game or 2 more in the next few weeks, and then it's, you got to keep getting fit for next year, because he just had a 12-month right. Like, when did he do that injury? Like, bloody ages ago from that
I think
thing.
last year it was all calf injuries.
And then he did the offs, the whatever it was that
made the shoulder too.
Yeah, like he's just he needs to get a full year of just being injury free, and then maybe they can think about putting him back in the midfield. So yeah, I don't know, Jaws. We didn't really know what his role was, but if it's going to be what it is on the weekend, then my God, he's a easy pick, I think. And then the only question mark is, and then the only question mark is, can he last out the year? That's all. So
yeah, I'd be happy.
400K. It's I'd definitely be happy to pay for it
at that price. As I've said a bit throughout the year, at the right price, I'll take injury risk. This is the right price. This will probably, listening to SEN, I think it was Gary Lyon spoke to Horse. No, not Horse. Who's Dean Cox? Sorry, spoke to Dean Cox. Yeah. Dean Cox goes on SEN a little bit, and this is sort of like their off-air discussion. He spoke about, do you see Callum Mills, getting back to his best? And Cox said, absolutely.
Yeah.
So maybe they see something in training that he's been,
which he's always going to say that, George, isn't he? Though?
But really, it's just been the plantar fasciitis, and that's it. That's all he's had for maybe 12 months or so, maybe 9 months. So I think you back him in, and durability improves with the role. Loose down back, got the keys there. Roberts out, Bice out, Lloyd out. It's him and Blakey running the show. Not much to say. Get him if you can.
I think Matty works good on the wing too. I don't know, like he can get back and help the defense, but then also play along the boundary line out wide on the wing. I don't know. I think he actually works probably good, like better there than in defense. And the Cunningham's back now that can play that sort of lockdown-ish small defender role. And Wicks, they're not, he's had a decent year in that spot. So I don't know, man. I think it's just going to be him, completely just quarterbacking for the rest of the year, and it could be pretty. Like if he stays fit, it could be pretty big scoring.
Yeah.
So
like 3 years ago or so, maybe 2, he scored that 210 against Hawks. Although that was midfield, but that was
midfield, down in Tassie.
Yep,
absolutely cooked.
So in terms of other targets that are cheap, McRae, Horn, Francis, Darcy, I think you'd be happy with all 3. They're really good prices too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can order them. I think whoever you like. I mean, Darcy, just watching Darcy, like how many times Bolter didn't have his best game, but Bond just kicked it 50 meters to Darcy, and then you could just see
first couple in the first quarter was like, what are we doing? No one's actually even on him. So it's like we can't even judge if he, but it doesn't matter. Then second half or his next 3 goals when they were on him, it doesn't matter anyway, because it's just kick it up, give it some height. It doesn't. I don't even think if it's Noah Bolter who's disinterested in a criminal, or it's like prime Matthew Scarlett. Who's going to stop it? I actually don't think anyone is going to, provided the kick's given him a chance. Who can reach before him?
James Hurd was speaking about it. I think he described it best. He said he's unplayable. I think
you have to actually stop him from getting to the ball, or you're not. Yeah. Or you're going to have 3 blokes jump at it and then you'll end up just giving away a free kick anyway. It's actually like going to be the biggest cheat code ever. And the amount of the Dogs get in there with their midfields firing, which it has for most of the year, should be crazy, really. And then he goes in the ruck, Jaws. He had like 4 hit-outs for 3 hit-outs to advantage. It's like there's an extra baseline of points there for him too. Like it's Because he's probably going against the second ruck, who's, probably bloody 15 centimeters shorter than him. It's just like his scoring profile is actually pretty nuts because he's not just a key forward who needs a clunk and a goal. He gets the ball off the deck in the forward line. He hits targets with both feet. Like he's getting obviously pumped up like crazy right now, and I'm joining in, but it's for good reason. Like, I don't know. He could be like the next guy, key forward sort of type that just can average 100 for us, for years to come. I don't know. It's crazy. Worst part is he was on the waivers about, I don't know, in the off season maybe, or maybe during the end of last season, and someone else picked him up and like just for nothing in our keeper league, and it's like, man, he's like top 6 forward, and it's like, no, he wasn't even on anyone's team. Like, crazy.
Yeah, no, I love watching him play. Like, I didn't even own him, but it was just kind of fun to watch the Bont Darcy connection with Mad. So that's good. Whitfield will be. Do you have anything else to add?
No.
I would. Whitfield is going to be cheap, so if he's a post by target, he's got West Coast. I know he's concussion. Yeah. Sometimes you get nervous players come back from concussion. I think he comes back and plays West Coast. I'd almost go there for 500k. Break even's 140.
Oh, is that all it is? Oh, yeah, hell yeah. Yep.
He's got Essendon as well after that, or 2 games after that. And Essendon give up uncontested ball at the moment, so
I thought his break even be higher. I guess it might be the week after, will it? I don't know. But anyway.
Depends on what he scores against West Coast, because he's got the 140 and a 16 in his system. That was cruel. Champion Data took a tackle off him. But yeah, I'm almost tempted if McKercher bridges the gap to Whitfield enough. I might do that.
If you have the trades, and it won't even be that much. I mean, if he goes berserk against West Coast, obviously it's like Bont. People looking at Bont, and then he goes 170, and it's like he's not going to get as cheap as you thought. So see how it goes. But yeah, no, if you had trades, George, I'd do it for sure in a couple of weeks, or next week, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, last week on the pod, I said I thought he was going to be D1 for the rest of the season. I don't think that changes for me, so I'll be happy to go there. And then this is I'm not going to call it a sneaky one, but Flanders is getting a fair bit of pill at the moment, or post buy anyway, from his one game, and has a nice run. Melbourne, Essendon next 2. Also, there's a Richmond in there for the rest of the season. 378k for Flanders, who probably was a walk-up before the back issues in the preseason. Probably would have been a walk-up top 6 defender based on what we saw last year, even in the half-forward role or decent CBA role. I'm probably not confident enough to go there, even though he looked a lot better. Maybe just one for next year.
Yeah, I got nothing to say, George. I wouldn't touch that. Was he getting like more mid-time or anything on the weekend, or was it just one of those games?
He was a bit higher up the ground, that's all really.
Yeah, he didn't tend to single center bounce, so I'm not really sure. I haven't watched enough recently, and I just wouldn't be going there this year. He'd be nice and cheap next year, depending what happens if he gets a full preseason and whatever role he plays. But I don't know. It's hard to get in. Like Humphrey's sort of the one they'd want to bleed more into the midfield than him. So it's like, is he ever going to get? I mean, Fiorini got CBAs, and Flanders is still getting none. So is he just playing forward now permanently? They got Rioli in, they got Noble in from other clubs to play those halfback roles. Like, where's he fit?
One.
Yeah,
just half forward now.
Yeah, no, not for me now. I mean, maybe not even next year. We'll have to see.
Hopefully, he gets traded and plays inside mid somewhere and gets fully fit.
Yeah, I mean that'll be very free pick if so.
Yeah, that's about it for targets. I guess like whoever. I mean, Bont and Butters are sub 600. I know it's expensive, and we know the cash that's come through the past 2 months. But I think if you don't have them, I think do everything you can to get them.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to rookies. So McCarthy still not on the bubble yet, but I think you just grab him. Might give you a score this week. Some people have. Could be heavy for some people with like GWS, Essendon, Brisbane, someone on other team as well. I forget. A lot of popular premiums. Yeah, Holmes and Baz. So fairly, might be difficult buy. So a difficult buy for some. So I definitely grab him. Liddy's on the bubble, 99k mid only. Oh, it's got the old leg sleeve there. So he
Yeah.
stands out. But I thought he played okay. I don't know if he plays out the year or not. I don't think there's like almost any situation where you go there because I think people want DPP.
Yeah.
But if this was like 6 weeks ago, I would go there. But if you, for whatever reason, you need that, then you can go for that.
Yep.
Check team sheets because I think it was Ollie Wines that missed is going to come back in, so it might be a shuffle there.
Yep.
Alex Taru, 170k. There's no world where you're touching that, but I think he's going to be a good player, but just not what we need right now. And people might need loopholes. So I think for mid forwards, I think there's a lot of options. I think you just grab like West Coast or whoever. To be honest, I haven't probably looked at the list, but I was looking at defender mids because I think people might want, well, in my situation, I want McCarthy D7, M9.
Yes.
So
make sure that's you've opened that up. Yep.
yeah, so I can want to flip him there. So I think there's two. There's a Carlton player and there's a Essendon player.
Yep.
Nguyen.
Yep.
I forget the Carlton guys' names. I think Essendon overall works a little bit better, but they're both kind of not great.
They're both not great because Essendon still has like I was looking for my R3. They have like heaps of because Blackiston was an option for me. You know, old mate that's having to play down back for Essendon at the moment. He was on the bubble I think this week, and I was like, oh, look, I don't really need someone that's playing, and it's like whatever. And they actually still play like I think I saw a clip of Chief reaming the AFL fixturing. He's like Essendon. Round 18 Friday night, round 19 Thursday night, round 22 Friday night. They've got like a heap more early games coming up in later rounds. So probably the Carlton guy, but again, they probably do too. So
No, I think Carlton's worse. Like they play Friday this
probably
week.
them
They play
starting
Friday next week. Then they play. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Another one against the next three are Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
So it's a pain in the ass. I'm bringing in young Nguyen. Don't know anything about him. Don't know what he looks like. 99k DPP. Best of the worst. He's in for me this week.
Yeah, so there's only two, is there? Damn, crazy.
Yeah, there's no real rock forwards. I guess you went the 99k.
Yeah, just 20k might come in handy. Who knows?
Yeah.
And then this week I'm getting the defender forward. I think is Ricky Mentha from Melbourne. There's no one else for that because I already have the swing with McCarthy, so I'm getting him for I don't know Nick Martin if he ever needs to go back because he's in my forward line. That could do that.
Yeah.
So
you don't have Campbell Gray, do you?
No.
Yeah. No, good.
So yeah.
That's about it from us. So 33 minutes, but we still got trades and captains. So your trades for this week?
I was quickly going to mention. I wish I needed to get a rookie. The only rookie that we maybe will be a miss that could be good cover is Rouston for the rest of the year, George. So he's already gone. He's already gone up now, unfortunately, 160. But yeah, I mean, he's just going to keep that spot now. I think. I don't know. Bedford's sort of not tagging anymore, not taking up, 60, 70% CBAs. He's getting them now. Just looks like Tom Green, Finn and him. So I don't know. Is he just going to keep that? Could be. And he's played pretty well so far in there. So
I don't see why not.
Yeah, either do I. So kudos if you got him last week for on the bubble because then, it might be nice. You might have McCarthy D7 and then Rouston, on your bench in the midfield might be nice if you ever need to call on them. So I don't know if you can get him for 160 now, but if you were splashed for cash and wanted some cover, could get him next week after the bye. Trades, George. Yeah, look, it's getting ugly. Kind of got to trade Matty Roberts, as you said. So I'm going down to 3 trades, but at his price and the cash in my bank, I only have like 490 or something to get anyone. And it can be flex because McKercher is D6, so I can just get anyone in for that sort of price. Haven't looked too hard at it, but to me, I'm just going to cash in Carroll and just get him up to Bont. Like, that's just got to be my play. Uses 2 trades. I'll have to suss it because then I've still got just Shelley sitting at flex, and it's like, damn, I wish I could turn him into Mills as well. Then I'm going down to 1 trade, and that's just like ultra death. down to one trade with
Yeah.
9 weeks to go. I think I just. I
Do you
mean,
keep
what do you?
Shelley and
Yeah. Do I think I just do.
play it by ear when you can
For
sort
as
of
long as I
comfortable?
possibly can. Problem is, Mills is going north and north in price quicker than him probably now. Yeah, tough, George. Or do I just get someone, as I said, for Matty's price or a bit more than Matty's price, flip Shelley as well, and then sit on 2. But then I'm no Bont for the rest of the year, and it could be very, very ugly viewing.
There's a reason why 60% of the comp paid 640 for Bond, so we didn't have to sit
Correct.
through things like that.
And there's a reason why we don't make dumb trades, or I'd have a couple more and it'd be fine.
I'd probably run the
Gauntlet. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I've got.
we
That's what
laugh
I've
now,
got.
but should we hit the fan in 3 weeks? You're like,
Of
nah.
course, but how bad is it anyway? It's not like I'm going well, so it's probably a bad
I guess you
attitude
just
to
need to
have.
avoid long-term injuries. So, like,
Yeah.
if you're on 23 in one trade, then you just need the 22 playing, and then you got McCarthy cover.
Yeah, I'll have Clark
So you
in defense as well still.
and you need any short term, like even if it's like a 6-week injury, you still hold that.
Yeah.
They get them back.
Problem.
Remember, I did that a few years. I think Fife had like a 6-week hammy, and I had no trades post buy. I just held him for 6 weeks, came back. But anyway,
Problem will be forwards. Can't cut, like, no cover there. If
I don't
one
think
of them.
anyone does.
No, but then
Something do.
do I get in a 7th one? But again, it's probably not worth it either. Could get McRae back for Matty, and then have 7 forwards and something like that.
Play around with it.
Got to look at it, but yeah, not in a good spot, George. As far as captains goes, though, again, I don't know. Haven't even looked at it too hard, but probably got to involve Cherry somehow. Maybe down at where are they playing at Tassie against Hawthorn? I don't know. He's usually high stoppage games. I'm not sure. He'd be keen to get clear of having to play double rucks for the last couple of weeks. I can see him bouncing back. Nick against West Coast, Dawson against Richmond. I don't have him Dawson, so not great there. I don't know. Sputters and Bont, you can VC early. I don't know. What are you thinking? I haven't really looked at it.
Well, definitely Nick will be involved against West Coast, playing for Brownlow, and so is Dawson.
You could just do them in one into the other.
Him and Baz and Nick probably top 3 right now, if I had to guess. I think it's just Nick into Dawson.
Yeah, but then you got Bont and Butters, and you haven't VC'd them either, or either of them.
Could get Chincotta.
Yeah, that could also
Bont.
just destroy that team. Anyway.
Yeah, I think he did a number on Bedford, and Jordan went for a bit and didn't really care. So he's just too good, Butters. But yeah, I think it'll be the midfielders playing against bottom 2 teams playing for Brownlows. I think that sounds good to me.
Makes sense. I think I might do a Butters into Nick.
Yeah. Now, I've got a question for you. These are my trades. So my current trades, Clark down to Nguyen, don't care, rookie, whatever.
Yep.
And then Sheldrick, man, he's been so good for us.
I know.
Sad to see him go, but I think his CBAs did drop in the 4th quarter a lot. They're just running too many names through there, but he's still getting good time in there. I think as Gordon's time goes up in the midfield, maybe he gets lowered. But look, regardless, I think this week or I think next week, ideally, is the week to offload him. But I think he can still do 80 plus in that system. But I'm trading him to Nas. Now, would you rather Nas and Rankin or Mills and Horn Francis?
Ooh, tough. I think Nas and Rankin. Nas could go on a big run here.
I've been telling you for weeks, like it's gonna click.
So due for that 140. And that's the one game I didn't watch him play. Like I didn't watch that game 1 second of it. So
yeah.
What happened with Sink, by the way? I forgot to do my
Didn't
fault.
see him.
I think he's got to be my fault. So what the hell happened?
3rd quarter, I think he went to get a hot dog on the bench or something. I didn't see him.
That's bizarre. Anyway,
he got involved a bit in the 4th quarter, but
we got a bit hungover last week after his 200th. Was that last week?
maybe.
I don't know. Making too
think
many
Nass,
cowboy hats.
it's funny when one of them goes off, the other goes ballistic. It's pretty funny to watch. It happens every week.
Oh yeah, because they get all like they under pressure down back. There's like 4 kick-ins in a row and
Yeah.
a lot of ball. I don't know. He'll probably be fine. I think
Yeah.
Nass is due though, like due to just go on a big like he can go 130 for a while. It's just like it hasn't happened.
Yeah. I might.
I think that's where he should go. You don't have a Saints defender. You're gonna hate yourself if Mills goes and he's like, oh, he's plantar fascia is flared up again, and Sydney's season's over, and they put him on. Like you'll blow your top. So, but also you're gonna blow your top because you don't have Horn Francis, and you're like, fuck, this guy. He's
You've
not
had
gonna
to
kill you as
endure-
hard as you think. I don't think, George. He's
You've
not.
had to endure me all year crying about not having.
I know, and he hasn't. I'm trying to see, like, oh fuck, he must be averaging 120. He's not. He hasn't done that much.
I think a few things have gone wrong lately, which is helpful for non-owners. But anyway, we'll stop now. I think someone in the comments last week said, "And he's going to something if he has to hear Jordan say Horton Francis again." But anyway,
I don't get it. I'm like, I must be like cooking with this guy, but
anyway.
I know last week probably was hard, but then he got the injury. I don't know. He didn't play midfield at all in the last week. Last
He's
week,
injured
obviously,
this week.
But last week he still didn't when he went berserk. It's just, and when I say that, it's attending centre bounces. Like he's still playing around the ball, up at rolling up to stoppage. But like, I just don't think he's going to kill you as bad as you think. There might be big spike games in there, but he's also not just going to have drop in 70s and 80s and stuff as well. That's what he sort of does at the minute. I don't know. I guess there's a lot of parts. Sorry, there's a lot of parts to that because it's also how much trust you have in Rankin as well on the way home. So it's could you still offload him later on? Like
Rankin, I think he should turn it around because it's partially form, partially role. If the form just turns around, then I think we can look at 95 plus. I don't see 100.
Also, you wouldn't do Rankin to Horn Francis this week anyway.
Not this week, no.
Yeah, so just keep playing that one by ear. I think get Nass.
If that money comes in range, I've got 17K in the bank. If they get within each other, which break evens are not kind for that, I'll probably pull the trigger. But anyway,
see how that. I think you can keep playing that one by ear. Like,
yeah, I don't want to use 2 though. 1 trade if it can get there. But yeah, anyway,
fair enough.
Are you grabbing Mills?
I might have to, George.
Yeah,
Sheldrick's probably not ticking time bomb, but I don't know how far he can keep it up. And you just that role Mills has, they're the same. What are they? They're pretty much the same price, or it's costs a little bit, tiny bit.
20K, yeah.
It's my trade count. It's awful, but might have to be done.
Yeah.
Then it's trying to use 2 to get Maddie to Bont, or Maddie to just sideways him to someone,
McRae
or something, and then yeah.
Do you just hope Eddie goes with Bont in terms of scoring?
I do have Eddie, so yeah, it's like not the worst, and I have Darcy, but Bont, man, it's Bont.
Yep. Good.
That's enough about our teams, but people out there, like, yeah, if you got enough trades to get those guys we're talking about, Neil, Merritt, Ashcroft, whatever, you still don't have Bont, pull the bloody trigger now. Like, pull it this week, I think. Don't look back. Mills, great option if you need someone there as your flex or D6 or whatever. As well, if you want to make cash off turfing one of those. I think that's all fine. Anything else that people should do this week, or like the main takeaways?
Not really.
Get McCarthy.
Yeah, get McCarthy. Make sure your loops are sort of set up so you're not stuck. I think F7, a lot of people kind of stuck at F7. I think most of us haven't cashed in Cooper Simpson.
It's not much to cash in. And then, probably got another dead one there or something.
I've got Gray as well there. So if I get one forward injury, then I'll probably just fill the 22.
Yeah.
If I get 2, then it's either forced trade or I'm not sure. I think it's just 9 weeks to go. Hopefully 2 players don't miss out once.
Yep. Easy.
The way it's going, F7 is going to drop out anyway. Rankin and Warner do my head in. Anyway, we'll wrap it up there.
No worries.
Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.